Check one. Jack, how's it sounding now? Good? All right, and Jack, if you want to just hone in on this, I'm going to do both sides of the board tonight. And then I'll be repeating what they say on the questions. So let me ask you guys a question. What is the hardest thing for you about being a broker of a real estate company? Okay. Managing people. Okay.
Managing the circus.
Okay. Managing the circus, right? Okay. Well, I want you to think, I work with several different real estate companies. I work with different real estate leaders. I have one real estate broker I work with that is a team lead that does $100 million of production with 9 real estate agents. I work with some agencies and teams that have 100 people and are not doing $100 million. Okay? So the benefit I get, I was just in Houston yesterday working with one of the top RE/MAX teams in the country. And so what I do is I go over here and I watch what they're doing, and I go over here and I watch what they're doing, and I go over here and and I'm seeing like what are the common denominators. Well, to be a good, I want to substitute the word broker here for another word. Okay, so I'm gonna mark through this, and I'm gonna put coach, leader. Okay, and I want you to think about this. Let's say back when I was a women's basketball coach. If I didn't have a love for people and a heart for people, how tough of a job would that be? Right? Well, what I see out of, let's take the broker that I work with, who's really not the broker, he's the leader. He has a broker. You follow me? And let me step back and ask, what does he do to build this atmosphere of success that he's built? Okay, and I'm going to just walk through some of the things I've seen. Number one, none of his agents came from the real estate world. They all came from outside of the real estate world. But most of those people came to him and wanted to work for him. They came from his church. They came from people he interacted with. So I'm going to show you what he's really good at. Number one, he's really good at the psychology of desire. So he really understands how to help a person get clear about what they want in life. Not just in business, in life. He is really, really, really good about depth of relationship. Meaning, he goes incredibly deep with these people. And when I say deep, I mean they sit down with each person. They go through their goals, their life goals. They go through their money goals. They go through their personal goals. He helps them with their finances. He shows them how to invest money. He shows them, it's like he's their life coach. He's their life coach. They have dinner at his house once a month. They go on trips to Mexico together. They set their targets together. He has these weekly rhythms with them. I mean, they really look at him like, this is the guy. This is the dude. The third thing he's great at is he is a great architect of businesses. Meaning his real skill set is looking at a business and showing a person how to build, grow, and create a business. Now, if I'm out there in the world and I got a lot of prey drive, I got a lot of energy, I want to be great, I'm in a dead-end job. My wife was in a dead-end job working at Verizon selling cell phones that she hated. But nobody came along and said, hey, come over here. You could do this. If she come in with a high prey drive, and I would do a disc profile on every single person that joins my team. All right? And if it don't show up as a high D and driven with some influence, I would say what? It ain't going to work. But they're in a job somewhere working, doing something, and they come to you and you say, look, there's 3 things I'm going to do for you. Okay? I'm going to really help you get clear about where you're going in your life. Okay? I'm going to help you. I'm going to build a deep and meaningful relationship with you. Okay? And I'm going to help you architect your business so you make more money than you've ever made in your life. And this is what my job is as your coach. Right? Now, if I help my agents do those things, you see what kind of bond we build with each other? So I want you to think, if I get the right people, not the wrong people, they should be interested in those things. Yes or no? But if I get the wrong people, they're interested and I can't get out of bed and I got excuses and I can't want to come to office and I want to prospect on my own and I don't want, listen, they don't believe the same things you do. So when you're thinking about this concept of the monster broker, the monster coach, the monster leader, I want you to think about building something that is incredibly attractive to other people. Other people want to be a part of it. It's a buzz. It's, you know what I mean? It's something people talk about. So the question becomes, how do we do that, okay? So I want you to think about these things, because what I want, and we have this, routinely I have people every week that come and say, I want to work with you. And they're from everywhere. They're from Monster Producer. They're from all over the world. They come in on Facebook, and you know what I'm saying? They're like, I want to come work with you. Some of those people we can make work, some of them we can't, right? But what I try to do is create an environment where people want to be a part of. They want to be excited, okay? And so what I'm trying to do is constantly build momentum. And I'm creating events, and I'm creating all of these things for people to be a part of, and I'm building greatness factories. And you understand what I mean? And people go, that's attractive. That's interesting. How do I get involved in it? You follow what I'm saying? So if I started, because I've thought about this too, I've thought about just opening my own real estate company. Now, I can't do it because all the real estate agents I coach. and I've been recruited to work at every real estate company you can think of. But what I would try to do is create something that people want to be part of. Okay? And here's an example. One year I spoke to the Exchange Club, National Exchange Club. Average membership for the Exchange Club is elderly, right? Old. And they had 26 years of declining attendance at their meetings. That's a long run of doing nothing but going down. And one of the main guys lived here in Murfreesboro, in our hometown, and he came to me and he said, I'm the new president of the National Exchange Club. I'm trying to increase attendance. And I said, well, let me go to one of the meetings and let me see what's going on. And I go to one of the meetings and I say, man, I know what the problem is. There ain't nothing interesting about this. Nothing. Like why would I spend my time and energy if I was an up-and-coming person coming to this? There's no energy, there's no hype, there's no momentum, there's no excitement, there's no nothing. Well, so I go speak at this big conference in New Orleans to 800 of these people, and I'm like, look, y'all got to make this intriguing and interesting, and we're going on a journey, and we're doing things together, and to his credit, they showed improvement. They showed an uptick for the first time in 26 years. But he went all over the United States trying to get these people excited. Have better meetings, create things in the future. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build momentum, because one of the things we're going to talk about tonight is how do you insulate yourself from other companies taking your agents, right? There's always going to be somebody coming along going, come over here, join this. This is the new big thing. This is the new exciting thing. We got a better split. We got this, we got that. You will never get rid of that for as long as you're in the business, right? So what you have to create is something that people go, man, I love going to work with those people. I love part of this deal. So I want you to think about what kind of momentum and energy that you're building and how you can create this atmosphere of success where people are learning and growing and engaging, and you are eliminating people who don't share the same beliefs. Now, we've talked about the law of diffusion. Y'all understand what I'm saying on this? When you're looking at a real estate team or an insurance team, you're looking at this. Out of every 30 agents on the team, there's 4.8 of those agents that are going to be on fire. Okay? Then there's another percentage of these people, typically 10 that are there, typically another 10 are there. Then over here there's 5 that are never going to do anything. Okay? Now, if you were coaching me and I told you I've only got so much time in a day, who would you tell me to spend time with? right here. And then here's what I would do. Now I want you to remember this for all the people watching this online. When I first was trying to win championships as a coach, I went to a person that had won 10 championships, Coach Insell at Shelbyville. And I said, how do you get these people on board with you? And he said something I will never forget. He said, one at a time. He said, I get the top players on my team. I sow into them. I spend time with them. And once I get the top 4 or 5 on my team, then I get number 6, and then I get number 7, and then I get 8. And he said, all I need is about 8 to win championships. So if I got 30 on the team, all I need is 8 producing all the time. Well, the same way I do, if you look at what some real estate people do, they do this. They create 10 relationships that could send them 10 referrals a year. Insurance agents the same way. Then they have 15 relationships that send them 3 referrals a year. Then they have their business partners. Then they have their future or high potentials. Well, I would tell you, spend your time and energy with those 10 people who could send you 10 referrals a year. That's right. My guy I'm coaching got 46 referrals out of his top 10 people last year. Okay? Then he's getting 1 to 3 referrals out of these 15 people. Then he's going to all of his business partners, and he includes his real estate agents on his team as his business partners. And he spends he spends all of his time with 50 people. Now, this tells me, this law of diffusion, that if I've got my 4.8 that are on board with me, then I need to go and try to get number 5 and number 6 and number 7. And once I get me 7 or 8 good agents on my team, and they drink the Kool-Aid, right? And I'm spending and pouring into them, and we got a symbiotic relationship. Then some of these these are called late majority here. Some of these people are going to go, look, man, everybody's on board. Okay, why am I not on board? I had a woman today from a firm I was coaching who was being recruited to that firm. She's a real estate agent. She was being recruited, so they wanted her to sit in on my session. And she came to me and she said, look, every one of my friends are in your coaching program. If they're all in there, why am I not in there? What did I say? That's right. Why are you not in there? Late majority. See, once these people over here start drinking the Kool-Aid, and because of the momentum and the energy that you got, they're going to start going, look, all these people are in, and they're being successful, and they're making more money. Why are we not over here? And these people are going to go the opposite direction. You follow what I'm saying? So I want you to just think about this when you're building a real estate company or an insurance company, because some of these people are insurance brokers. I won a championship with 6 players. I had 15 on the team, but only 6 of them played. The others still practiced. But here's what I told those 9 players. I've got to give all of my attention to the top players. Okay? And they would say, well, I want some more attention from you. And I made it like a little club, like you really wanted my attention. And I'd say, here's how you get my attention. You get in the top 6. And once you get in that top 6, you're going to get all my attention. Well, how do I get in the top 6? You do this, and you do this, and you do this. There's 3 things you're not doing. You don't work hard, you don't show up like you're supposed to, and I can't trust you. Once you do those 3 things, you're going to move up the food chain. You're going to get some more of my attention. You follow what I'm saying here? If I was running an insurance company or a real estate team, it's the exact same thing. I'm going to give all of my attention to this group of people, and I'm going to help you crush it, right? Now, what my guy's done is he's taken the opposite approach. Instead of having 30 people where he gives attention to 4 or 5, he said, I'm going to build 9 great people, and I don't want 30 people. I just want 9 great ones. You follow what I'm saying? And these people are lock, stock, and barrel on board with him, and he's on board with them. Now, every now and then there's a dud. He gets rid of them. But it's a culture. So what he's doing is he's building an atmosphere of success. Okay? He's building an atmosphere of success where these people want to be a part of it. They want to be engaged with it because it's to their benefit. When they listen to what he says and do what he says, they make a lot more money. And they can see this feedback loop. Now, in the first session of Monster Broker, I talked about this. We've taught you in Monster Producer how to bundle your services together. And basically what I'm saying is there's a difference between recruiting and attracting. Recruiting is I'm going out into the marketplace and I'm constantly looking for a certain type of person. Hungry, motivated, maybe they're discontented in their current work. They got a lot of potential. Maybe we go to church with them. Maybe we see them when we go to dinner. Maybe it's a waitress over at Red Robin, somebody. And I say, you know what, you got a lot of spunk. I'd like to sit down and talk to you about an opportunity here. That's recruiting, okay? Attracting is when I sit down with that person, I say, look, let me show you everything we give the people that work with us. Daily coaching, this, 25 years of experience, personal coaching for me. These are all of the things we're going to give you when you choose to join our team. Everybody see what I'm saying? So I want you thinking just like you would package it up and say, when I'm your real estate agent, let me show you all the things I'm going to give you. I want you thinking too that you're going to bundle your services together, and you're going to say, when you join our team, we are the fastest growing real estate team in Manchester, Tennessee. We are this. We are this. We are this. Who wouldn't want to be a part of this? Every month we're doing something exciting. We're sewing into our agents. We're going to classes on how to be better brokers, which 9 out of 10 people ain't doing. You know what the number one thing I hear about people when I ask them about brokers? Here's what I hear. They don't care about those people. That's what I hear. They don't care. They don't care. It's just some job that they've got. They don't even want. There's nothing glamorous about it. You understand what I mean? This is the kind of comments I hear about people. Well, get that out of your mind and ask yourself this question. If the agents are the geese laying the golden eggs, we can't kill the geese. What we want is to figure out how can we get these geese to produce more golden eggs. Right? So I want you thinking about how you bundle this package together to where it's very, very, very powerful. That when you do sit down with a potential person and you say, look, here's the life you're on right now. Here's the path you're on right now. If you join our team, here's the path you could be on. Here's the excitement we have going on, okay? Now, let me go to this piece right here, because it's very critical. When you go out into the marketplace, what I'm trying to do is attract people versus chase people. Well, to attract other people, what do we have to do? Become attractive. And how do we become attractive? And what we put out to the market, and how interesting it is, and what kind of momentum and energy we have, and what kind of atmosphere. Now, and let me give you an example. What are your current agents that you have saying about you to other people in the community? I want you to think about this. Because when I was coaching Vanderbilt University, I came in to coach their staff, and they were struggling with getting recruits, okay? And they couldn't get a great recruiting class. So I go in and I start doing my homework, and I break down their sales cycle, and I'm trying to figure out, like, what's the problem here? It's Vanderbilt. Like, who wouldn't want their kid to go to Vanderbilt, right? And I found out that when kids were coming on campus to do the recruits, the current kids were telling the future kids not to come there. Here's what they're saying. You don't want to play for this coach. You don't want to come here. This is not a good scenario. Therefore, those kids would go, man, if you're currently playing here, right? So I want you to think about your agents and what they're saying, and how are you training them to say, just like you train your customers. What are you training your agents to say? When you go out in the community, what are you saying about this place? Is it dynamic? Is it on fire? We're making improvements. We're doing big things in the world. We're going, right? What are they saying? Because here's what I want you to understand. When we're teaching you this concept of explanation of services, and we're teaching you these beliefs, when you go out to recruit, okay, let's say I'm you and I'm a broker, insurance, real estate, and I'm a leader. When I go out into the marketplace, I'm looking for certain characteristics in a person. Do they show up early? Do they smile? Do they keep their head up? Do they meet and greet people? How do they handle adversity? I'm watching, and I'm going, that person's got a lot of potential. All they need is a good coach. All they need is a good location. All they need is their own little greatness factory to go to. You follow what I'm saying? So where do I find those people at? Well, I find them everywhere. I find them everywhere. Now, when I sit down with them, I should be able to say, here's what we believe. We believe this, this, and this. Because of that belief, here's why we built this real estate company. Here's how we're building it. Here's what we're doing. Here's how we're doing it different than everybody else. If this sounds interesting to you, why don't you join our team and just see what it's like, right? And push them to something. So some agents are having monthly explore real estate camp, learn more about real estate. Do you want to be a real estate agent? But they get 1 or 2 or 3 people there. What you got to do is you got to have a good pond of people that we're fishing from. So where have you found that you can go to find these people that you think are legitimate players? Where do you think? And when you see them, what do you say to them?
Ask them about how they got into what they're doing. Are you interested in something new? Have you ever thought about real estate? Tell you more about it.
And they typically say what? Are they flattered that you talk to them? Yeah, because most people are flattered, right? Most people are flattered. And they say, look, I'm interested. But here's what I would tell you. Most brokers are spending a very small percentage of their time recruiting. To me, there's production and there's production capacity. There's production and there's production capacities. Production is me selling. Production capacity is me building a little team that can sell. Well, over here, we have to recruit and attract, coach and develop, and retain these people. So a percentage of my day, just like I'm telling you, you should be prospecting 2 hours a day to sell houses, there should be a percentage of your day every single day. Now, we coach some brokers, and here's what I hear. Can't find the right people. Can't talk to the right people. They ain't like they used to be. They think real estate is all this and this. Here's what I would tell you. How many people are you talking to in a week about this? You talking to one? I'm showing you that for every 30 people you get in front of, only 4.8 are going to be interested. So if you only talk to 2 people this week about joining the team, right? You ain't got enough at-bats. Most brokers want better people, but they don't want to go out there and spend time recruiting. You got to become a world-class recruiter right? Now, a company like State Farm hires recruiters. That's all they do is recruit people. Well, if you can't hire a person to do nothing but recruit people, then that person is who? You. So just like I'm telling you, you need to have X number of people on your hit list every day. When you're recruiting, you need to have X number of people on that hit list every single day. You need to have X number of people that you're calling on every day. You need to have a farm club of people that said they were interested in joining your team. You need to have your biggest agents that you're spending time with. Just like I have my big clubs, my millionaire club, my 25K level, and they get private time with me and we do special things for them. You need to be doing those special things for your agents to keep pumping that, priming that pump. Promotion of events, pushing people to things. We're doing this, we're doing this. Competitions, call nights, power hours, everything you can do to keep this forward momentum moving. Does that make sense? When people feel stuck or they're not making any progress or they're bored is when they go looking for something else. Progress is a natural motivator for people. Now, if I were a broker today, one of the things we're starting to do now when we sign on people to the coaching program is what's called a commitment call. Is I want to be real clear with people up front. This ain't going to be easy. And I need to know right now, do you have what it takes to stick it out and see this through to its conclusion? That means on days you don't feel good, you're still going to show up. On days you don't feel like doing it, you're still going to fight through it. This is a commitment between you and I, which is a vested partnership. Well, lots of people get into real estate and they don't really have that talk. So then they go down the road and they go, man, this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be cashing checks and Cadillacs. I thought this was going to be easy and glamorous and fun because I watch $1 Million Listing on Bravo television. Let me tell you something. You need to know right up front. One of the things I believe is in long obedience in the same direction. I believe in commitment. I believe in being in the office every day at 8 o'clock. I believe in making phone calls from 9 to 11. If you can't do that, you don't need to join our team. Now let me say this. We've got a political consultant in our coaching program, and he did some work with Chris Christie, who was the New Jersey governor who ran for president. In the beginning, Christie was tough, no nonsense, would call a person out, and people loved it. They're like, man, this guy is not politically correct. He would say to a person at a town hall meeting, if you don't like the way I run the state of New Jersey, run for governor. And I mean, people loved it. That's who he was. That's what he believed. Tough. right? I'm in the ball game. You're not. You're over on the sideline griping, and I'm in the game trying to do something about it. Well, some political consultant told him that he needed to back off that toughness. And he backed off his toughness, and guess what happened? His numbers did this right here. So I coach brokers that they're tough. They're tough people. But they've softened because they feel like that's what society tells them to do. We had Bill Taylor in here, who's the Bushido School of Karate. And he was telling me that, that he used to be this tough guy. People came to him, and he's built this successful karate business, but he had to soften. And I said, Bill, I wouldn't soften. You need to be who you are. And what you're going to do is you're going to line up with people who think their kids need to be tougher. I said, kids today need respect, authority, confidence. They don't need to be buttercups. They need to toughen up. You're going to see a whole cycle of people go, look, that's the man I like. I'm sending my kid down there to Bushido School of Karate. Now, what I'm telling you is this. If you're a tough-minded person, don't go out into the marketplace and try to pretend to be something you're not. Soft, lovey-dovey, easygoing. And then they get in there, and you're frustrated with them, and they're frustrated with you, because you're sitting there going, you ought to toughen up. I think you should tell people up front. My goal for every agent that I coach is to make $100,000 a year. It ain't going to be easy. You're going to have to do this, this, and this. And if you don't want to do it, don't sign up for my team. But I'm only looking for a certain type of person. Now, is that you or not you? You follow what I'm saying here? Now, the reason I'm telling you guys this is because if we don't have that commitment conversation in the beginning, 3 months down the road, they're not showing up to the office. They're not prospecting 2 hours a day. They want to quit. Most real estate agents quit within the first 2 years before their license is even up for renewal. Is that tough? No, it's not tough. And they say, well, I'm broke. I don't have any money. I know you're broke and you don't have any money because you're not doing what we're teaching you to do, which is prospect every day. Show up in the office and get around this atmosphere of success. Follow up 7 touches like you're supposed to. Okay, now you asked me and I told you, here's what you got to do. So what I'm doing now is I'm having these hard conversations with people on the front end. Look, if you can't commit to this, don't even come into my program. I'm not interested in you. And some people are going, no, I'm interested. Okay? So I'm getting clear on my beliefs. Think about every time that you've recruited a person that didn't believe the same things you did. And what a disaster that came out to be. Right? Now, let's shift down here and let's think about this for a minute, and then we'll go just another minute and we'll let you take a break. When you think of this law of diffusion, I would ask each of you watching this, are you spending your time with your top 4 to 6 people? Who would you identify as your next number 6, 7, and 8 that you need to be spending time with? Or are you spending all your time down here worrying about these people, which is what most people do? I wouldn't spend a second on those people. I'm talking not even a second. And I would tell them, if you want some more attention from me, you need to show me that you will put the effort into this equation. And if not, what do you want me to do with you? Right? That's what I tell them. Because I'm not going to spend my time here. I'm going to spend my time here. These numbers never lie to me. I'm telling you, they never lie. Maybe it's 6, maybe it's 4, but somewhere between 4 and 6 out of every 30 are going to produce. Okay? Now, I want you to write this down, this triangle of success and a triangle failure. If I was drawing a triangle of failure, here's what I would draw. This is when a person becomes a problem. They're non-accountable to anything. That means there's no accountability for them. It is our human nature to be accountable to something. We crave it. Okay, I just wrote a book called The Accountable Church about how churches can help hold people accountable to their faith. Because without any accountability, we're just out there running around in the world, right? So I hold people accountable to their results and our system, our sales system. Are you working the sales system? So if a person's not producing on my team, and let's say I'm their broker, and I'm looking at their results, here's what I'm going to say. Let me hear your explanation of services, because something ain't right here. What are you saying when you get on the phone with a person? Are you working a selling system? Show me who's on your hit list today, who's in your farm club, who's in your top 25. What are you doing for your new clients? Show me how long you're prospecting every day. How many touches are you going? Are you going 7 to 15 touches? Are you asking for referrals? And if they're not doing any of those things, here's what I tell them. You're not accountable to anything. And because of that, you're not going to be successful. Now, if they're non-accountable, the next thing they'll do is they're non-contributing. This is a pyramid of failure. Okay? They're non-accountable and they're non-contributing. Contributing to what? Our atmosphere of success, our momentum and energy. They're non-accountable and they're non-contributing. Now, when a person is non-accountable to something and they're non-contributing, guess what? They start creating problems. Okay? Third piece of this equation is they're non-appreciated. So I'm non-accountable, I'm non-contributing, and I'm non-appreciated. Top-level people don't require a lot of validation from other people because they know they're good. Medium-level people need a lot of validation, right? I look at the DISC profile, and what does the DISC profile tell me? Okay? And here's an example. So if you're out there and you're not running the DISC profile, so I've been interviewing people for a personal assistant for me. And one of the things I'm looking at is a promoter profile. When I'm looking at these profiles, when I'm looking at this, critical, discontented, fidgety, impetuous, restless, change-oriented, fault-finding. Those seem like good traits? Okay? Sensitive. Okay? Evasive. Self-righteous. One of these, here's one. Emotional, impulsive. Okay? One of these that I was looking at for one of the peoples I was looking at, okay, here's, tell me if this would be a good assistant. Time management can sometimes be a significant challenge. To further complicate matters, you probably become more disorganized and more careless if you are put under pressure. Now, would that make a good assistant for me? How much pressure do you think I apply to a person? Yeah, so this is telling me that when she gets under pressure, she gets careless and disorganized. Okay? Even when confronted with serious problems, your sense of urgency sometimes may not kick in. So that's telling me. Now, this is not saying, here's another one. The fear of injury to your self-worth is probably a chief concern. You most likely do not want to damage or lose your social standing. This may be one reason that you tend to overuse praise and optimism. Okay? You sometimes may have trouble following through on your promises. This is not due to dishonesty on your part. Instead, you lose track of important deadlines. She's not a detail-oriented person. Plus, she needs a lot of attention and praise. You understand what I'm saying? So, when I'm looking at this, here's what I would tell you. This doesn't mean she would be a bad employee. This just means this may not be the right seat on the bus for her. Her profile is telling me that she may be a great customer service person. She likes to entertain people. She likes the social status. When she's customer interfacing, she's positive and upbeat. But it's also telling me that if I hire her and I put her in a pressure situation, okay, is that she may cause a problem for me at some point in the future. So I'm looking at this. I want you to think right now about your agents that cause problems for you. They're non-accountable, they're non-contributing, and they feel non-appreciated, right? Follow me? This is the triangle. Now, the opposite of this triangle of success is they're accountable to something. So I would ask them, do you want accountability? Okay, because we believe in working a selling system. We believe in having an EOS. We believe in being in a coaching program. Okay? And that's a form of accountability. Every 30 days you need to be in a coaching program. You need to be around dynamic people. You need to be reaching up and spending time with better people. You need to be doing these things. That's a form of accountability. Now, here's what I would tell you. I actually do not believe that an outside source can hold your people accountable. For example, and I got into this argument the other day with a broker. I said, if I called your agents every day, the other 23 and a half hours I'm not on the phone with them, they are going to have to be responsible to themselves. Everybody with me? See, somewhere along the way, we've been led to believe it'd be like me telling you, Mitch, you're responsible for my kid when she's my kid. You understand what I'm saying? You could call my kid every Monday and say, okay, Ella Grace, time to get your butt in gear, time to go out and do it. And she can tell you, here we go. What does she do the other 23 hours? So what I do, I don't believe I can hold Eric accountable 24 hours a day. What I believe I can do is give him a structure and let him know I'm watching his results. I'm going to coach him every day. I'm going to listen to his phone calls. I'm going to help him if he wants to make more money. And I say, do you want to make more money? Yes or no? If you do, then you need to follow what I'm telling you. Because I know how to make money. You understand what I mean? So you do what I'm teaching you to do and you'll make more money. But that requires this. You show up every day even when you don't feel like it. You prospect every day from this time to this time. You follow up 7 touches. You use different touches. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't hold people accountable. I fundamentally disagree with brokers who think some outside source can hold their people accountable. It just ain't happening. Now, but I ask, what are you holding them accountable to? So in my system, we have a planner, and I could go over there right now and say, give me your planner. Let me see who you've worked today. And if he says, look, I called these 40 people. I followed up with these 17 people. I had 5 conversations with this person. You see what I'm holding him accountable to? I'm holding him accountable to a system. If I don't have a system, what am I holding him accountable to? You see? So an hour phone call, that's just why I don't call people. When people say, well, will you call me every week? Will you check on me every week? No, I won't, because I'm not babysitting you. Do you need a babysitter or do you need a coach? You follow me? But I would tell you this. As a broker, I would want a system that I'm holding people accountable to. Hit list, farm club, top 25, 2 hours a day of prospecting. And if you're not willing to do that, you don't fit in my system. And because of that, right, then you need to go somewhere else. Do whatever you want to. Now, I'm a big believer, and we're going to talk about this after the break. If I can create an atmosphere and a culture that you want to be part of, I actually believe as adults we crave this accountability. We crave to be part of something. I think it's deep within us to be part of something bigger. Like I want to be part of it. This is cool. Well, if you're contributing to something just besides selling houses or selling insurance, I'm contributing to this atmosphere of success. I'm contributing to this culture. I'm contributing to a bigger cause. I'm contributing to something huge. I'm contributing to something big. Now I'm accountable, I'm contributing, and I feel appreciated, and that's all part of this equation. Everybody with me? Now, when you start building these things, and when we come back, I'm going to talk about the whole person. Because what we're talking about tonight is how to insulate yourself from people leaving, being recruited. There's got to be more to this equation than just money. You follow me? If it's all about the money, they'll find somewhere to say it's all about the money. That's the reason I'm going there. How do we insulate people from being recruited away from us? Well, you start doing these things right here. The people that I line up with don't leave me. They don't quit on me. They don't stop. They go deeper with me. You follow what I'm saying? We've had, in the last 2 or 3 days, we've had 4 people upgrade their coaching packages to the 25K level. Had another one today, Millionaires Club. That means they're already paying significant amounts of money, and they want to increase it. You follow what I'm saying? They want to bump up to a higher level. They don't want. So I'm looking for 40 or 50 of those. I ain't got to have 1,000. And guess what? They're all in there. So what you're looking for is, hey, do you and I believe the same things? And if we don't, it's okay. We just don't need to be in business with each other. Because these agents of yours are business partners of yours. And if they're truly business partners of yours, we should want each other to be successful. Now, I was doing a podcast with Brad Lee earlier. Brad Lee founded Lightspeed. My online academy is through Brad Lee. He gets 20% of every dollar that I do on that online academy. So when we sold 37, 38 lifetime academies last week, we generated 20 or 30,000 bucks. Brad Lee got 20% of it. He's my business partner. So when I say I want you to do a podcast for me, I want you to come to Seaside and do his retreat with me, you know what he says? Sure, because we're business partners. He wants me to be successful, and I want him to be successful. Well, you've got a business partnership with all of your agents. No different than your attorney, your mortgage person. They're business partners. So I sit down with each one of my business partners and I say, look, I want you to be wildly successful because when you're successful, I'm successful. But I can't want this more than you. We're vested partners. And I'll do my part but you got to show up and do your part. And this is what your part is. Okay? All right? Any questions about this stuff? Just think about this atmosphere of success. Okay? And everybody's got a few bad apples in the group. And the bad apples, they really do spoil the whole bunch, because it's not the haters that you should be worried about. A hater is public about their criticism of you. It's actually the naysayers who create the most problems. And the naysayers are people who say one thing to your face and another behind your back. So they pretend to be on board with you, and then when you're not around, they're spewing negative about you. What they do is they pollute and spread, and what they do is you get 3 or 4 of those in an office out of 30, they create a major problem. Well, we could have it better over here. Have you thought about this? It's a very selfish mindset. It's not about the group, it's about an individual. I don't want any of those people on my team. I don't want any of those people on my team, okay? I'd rather have 9 good agents that produce than have 30 and have 5 on board, 5 that ain't getting it, 5 and doing that. So when we come back, what I'm going to show you is this concept, and this is going to change the game for you. If you are looking at recruiting and attracting, coaching and developing, okay, and really keeping agents, this is the game changer. When you understand the whole person and how to feed all parts of another person's nature, and they're getting fed, they will never want to leave. But most people don't understand this piece. They think it's all about money, but it's not. It's actually about these dimensions of a person's nature. So when we come back from the break, I'm going to show you how to tap into that, so a person never wants to leave you. And if they will leave you after you've done all this stuff, you know what you need to say? There's the door. Okay? There's the door. All right, guys online, we're going to take a short break, and then we'll come back and we're going to talk about this whole person theory. Okay? Let's see who we got. Anita Hill, Christy, Michael Coburn, good to see you, big guy. Oscar, Stacy Coleman, Stephanie, all my Texas folks. Guys, what I really want you to take away from this session as we're talking about this is this concept of building atmospheres of success, aligning yourself with people who believe the same things you do, and really, really getting clarity about what you're offering a person, and more than anything, where you're spending your time. Now, for those of you that are out there, there's new real estate companies opening every week. There's new models that are coming up. There's new insurance concepts. There's new everything. If you can create an atmosphere where a person is contributing, accountable, and appreciated, to something, then people are going to be less likely to leave you. So just listen to what I'm talking about, and then you're really going to like this final piece tonight, which is about this how to tap into the whole person. This is about retention. How to retain your best people as it relates to retention around 4 parts of a person's nature: that body, mind, heart, spirit. Okay, so if you have questions, pop those questions into the question area. Jack will raise his hand and let me know we got a question, and we'll keep moving this ball down the field. Remember, atmospheres of success. We're building atmospheres of success. That's what we're trying to build. On there, Anita, good to see you. Great spending time with you the other night from Houston, Texas. Hey, Anita, I wasn't talking about you on this disc profile, by the way. No, Anita's so inquisitive, self-assured, competitive, quick, self-reliant. I like those. I like those things. Okay? All right, what was the big takeaway from the first session? What kind of struck a nerve with you that you said this? Because let me tell you just from my experiences. My first several years of being a coach, I led and motivated through fear, because that's the way I was taught. And I went home one night after a loss, and I was incredibly frustrated. And my roommate was the men's basketball coach. I was the women's coach, and he was the men's coach. He got beat that night, and we went home and we sat on the back patio, and we just commiserated about how awful losing was. And I looked at him and I said, would you get excited about playing for you? And he said, no, not at all. And I said, I wouldn't be excited about playing for me. And we both kind of looked at each other at a moment, and we were like, man, we got to change. We got to change. And what I mean by that is, I'm not saying we got to be somebody different than who we are. We just got to start building something that people want to be a part of. Now, when they poll people in the NFL, they ask one question, NFL players, who would be the number one coach you would like to play for? Almost 25% of those people said Pete Carroll at the Seattle Seahawks, right? Because he's supposedly a player's coach. Well, they ask the players, is he soft? Because he seems like he's having fun. And they said, no. They said, if you think he's easy to play for, we love playing for him. But if you think he's not disciplined or strict, then you don't understand him. He has incredibly high expectations of people. He just enjoys working with us, and we enjoy working with him. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people think, well, he's easy to play for. Okay? It's not that he's easy. He's just got high expectation. But they want to play for him, right? So I think a good broker is intense but positive. I see so many brokers out there that are negative. Trust me. There's enough negative to go around in the world. I hear it every single day. And I'm in the motivation business. I mean, I'm in a positive business, and I still hear negative every day. So I think, like the show I did this afternoon about how to handle disappointment, about how to know that people are going to let you down, about how to fight through, about how to stay in a positive spirit. These are all things, if you're going to be a broker, right? There are bad real estate agents and bad insurance agents, and there are good real estate agents. There are bad people in the world and good people. There are evil people and there are good people. You see what I'm saying? And so people in the real estate world or insurance world look at me and go, well, most of them are lazy and they don't want to do anything. Well, listen, I could take you over to another industry that I work with and show you how they're lazy and they don't want to do anything. So what I'm trying to tell you is to build something special. Build something that other people go, I want to be part of that. I want to be engaged with that. When I coach churches, here's what I know. Most of the churches in this country are declining in attendance. They're going bankrupt. They can't get you right, but not all churches are. Because I just saw a church in Houston that they said had 78,000 people in attendance. Wow. Through 8 or 9 campuses. I see my church is growing 100 new people every weekend. You see what I'm saying? So they're not all bad churches. They're just some bad churches. So you got to say, let's build something that is attractive to a lot of people with energy and excitement and enthusiasm. Now, this is called the whole person theory. The reason this is critical is because a person can show up at the office and be there but not be there. They go through the motions. They're mechanical. They're just surviving. And you know why? It's because 2 of their parts are not included. So I want you to get this. A people are made up of 4 parts. A body, that's physical. a mind, that's mental, a heart, that's emotional, and a spirit, that's spiritual. Each of these parts produce 4 different needs, 4 different 4 different dimensions, 4 different capacities. But I want you to remember the word needs. Each of these parts produce 4 different needs. The body's need is to live. And in our world, that is economic many times. It's survival. Like, I can't live off 7 real estate deals a year, which is the average that most real estate agents do in a year. 7 to 10 deals. That's what, $30,000 a year. It's poverty. I can't live on 7 deals. Well, if you study Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if I'm hungry right now, it's hard for me to give you my best effort if I'm hungry, because one of my basic needs is not met. If I don't know where I'm going to sleep tonight, if I don't know if my kid is going to have food on the table, if I can't buy them new shoes, then I'm operating in a state of fear. I can't function at my highest level because my basic needs are not met. Well, a lot of real estate agents get into real estate. They don't know how hard it's going to be. Their basic needs are not being met. Okay? And although I get that it's a 100% commission model, I have counseled some of my brokers to go to a base plus commission and make them employees. Now, you say, why would I do that? Because when they're an employee, I can say, you have to prospect from 9 to 11 every day. I can say, we need to do this. Now, you may try that. Maybe you tried it in the past. Have you guys ever tried it? I've got one broker that is incredibly miserable all the time because he's constantly in frustration with him and his people. He's a control freak. He wants to control it. And I'm like, the only way you're going to control this is to make them not independent contractors, but employees. They have to show up at 8, they have to work to 5, they have to do exactly what you tell them to do, and for that, there's a trade-off. They get a base. That base may be $1,500 a month, it may be $2,000 a month, and I said, but it's worth trying if you want, right? Now, if my basic needs of security and survival are not being met, then I'm in a bad spot. I'm scared. I'm operating out of fear. So the body's need is to live, but it is also where discipline and skill comes in. So one thing we should be doing in our office is we should constantly be growing the skills of our people. Okay? Now, here's what I believe. We throw all kinds of things at real estate agents, but we throw it to them in discombobulated ways. Like, here's a course on contracts. Here's a course on this. Here's a course on this. They are not smart enough to put all this stuff together. You follow me? They're not dumb, but they're not critical thinkers enough for you to throw them 10 different concepts and expect for it to stick, which is why I say, let's start with your explanation of services. Then let's move to your selling system. Then let's move to how you follow up. Then let's move to how you extract referrals. And I'm giving them a system. And I'm giving it to them in a way that I say, we're going to unpack this one concept. The whole month of March, we're going to talk about promotion. How do you promote? How do you have events? You understand what I'm saying? And I'm going to stick on this one concept for a month until you get it in your brain. And maybe 1 to 5% of you are going to go do something with it. You follow me? But here's the deal. If you just do one event and you wasn't an event, we made progress. If you just talk to my top 10 clients, that's progress. Okay? So the body's need is where discipline and skill. So every day, in my opinion, people need to be growing their discipline and their skill. So I say every morning we're going to have a rhythm. We're going to meet at 8:30, whatever time. We're going to cover a little coaching. 9 o'clock, we're going to get on that phone and we're going to have some discipline, because that's how you win. You work that muscle, right? Now, the mind's need is to learn. So this is where the accountable and engaged piece comes in. Remember, a problem agent is non-accountable, non-contributing, and non-appreciated. A successful person is accountable, contributing, appreciated. Okay? Well, the mind's need is to stay engaged, to learn, to grow, to be accountable to something. So every night I got to engage my mind because I got to sit down and map out my plan for the next day. I got to work my system, right? I'm engaged. I'm part of something. I'm growing. I'm expanding. I'm getting around cool people. Well, guess what happens when my mind's not engaged? I get bored. I check out. I daydream. I moonlight. My mind is wandering around all over the place because I'm not engaged. I'm not getting any better. Now, if you've been in real estate for a long time, these two things will be a challenge for you because eventually you say, look, I don't have the passion I used to have for this. That's natural. You eat banana pudding for 10 years, you eventually get tired of eating it, okay? So when I get bored, I set big goals for myself. And I get bored just like you do. Okay? When I talk about the same thing 7 times in a month, I get tired of talking about it. All right? So what I do is I challenge myself. I get around real interesting people. I push myself. I reach up to people and I get inspired again. I get re-inspired. And because I fight boredom just like you do. Well, if my mind's not engaged, so people ask me today, like, what do you do? I'm reading 3 or 4 books at a time. I'm listening to podcasts every day. I'm watching videos every day. I keep in my mind working, okay? Now, my heart is value, passion, energy. If there's no energy, and I can't tell you how many real estate offices I've walked in where there's no energy. Here's what, if I had a real estate office, I'd do the same thing I've done here. I'd make a beautiful space. I'd have music playing all the time. I'd keep, the minute a person walked in the door, it's on. You went from a low state of energy to a high state of energy. You follow what I'm saying? I'd have engaged meetings. I would try to challenge and push people. And I'd say, let's climb to Mount Everest together. Let's go do it together, okay? Well, this is the heart, passion. I love it. I love what I'm doing. I love who I'm doing it with, okay? This is a key component if you want to retain your people, okay? The next P is the spirit. The spirit is loyalty, it's purpose, it's faith in what we're doing, it's faith in a bigger cause. Now, when you understand these 4 parts of a person's nature, let's say that I've lost all of my passion for what I do. Now I've got no heart. So what good is it to have skill, that's the body, with no desire? What good is it to have knowledge with no confidence? Okay? Now, some people would say, well, you could inspire people with your knowledge. You know, Bradley would say, well, a person with knowledge with no confidence could actually inspire other people to have, that do have it, could go do it. I'm looking at a whole person. So here's what I start saying. This agent is not getting any better, so they're bored. Okay? They're not growing their skills. They don't believe in what we're doing. They don't have any passion for what they're doing. And they don't have any confidence or faith in where we're going. Now, look at what have I got left? If anything, I got a body. I got a person who shows up but don't show up. Now, if I got a person on my team that shows up physically but not shows up with their whole self, I got a decision to make as the broker. Do I want to keep them on my team? And that goes against everything I stand for. I believe work should be the distribution channel for your talents, your God-given talents. The Bible tells me that people that take their talents and do something with it, those talents are multiplied. Okay? I believe when you show up to work that this is the way you share your talent with the world. And I believe you should work at your work with passion and desire. If you don't believe that, then you and I don't believe the same things. Therefore, we don't need to be in business partnership with each other. I don't care if you're an independent contractor or an employee. You understand what I'm saying? I'm looking for passionate people who are coming up with ideas and creativity, and they want to come and they want to show up and they want to get better. That's the kind of people I'm looking for. And they're out there. 7.5 billion people. They're out there. They're in Manchester and they're in Texas. What we got to do is get them, find them. So today I was talking about in this little video I did this morning about tightening up. Sometimes when we've been doing something for a while, we get loose. We get comfortable. Well, it's okay if we don't do this. Well, if it's okay if we don't do this. Listen, big time people don't let themselves get complacent. Right? So I've been coaching the Hotze Wellness Center in Houston, Texas for 9 months. We come in there. They make their people watch my online academy every morning at 7:30 in every department. We've gone through the EOS. They've worked on the EOS. At the 9-month mark, we checked and tested their people. Their salespeople were getting on the phone, not using the script that they had been taught, not sharing their explanation services. After 9 months, 5 days a week of being trained. You with me? The owner of that company paid almost $200,000 for them to be coached. Do you know how livid I would be if I paid $200,000 and they were not following the script? So their numbers, instead of going up, were going down. So he goes down there and he says, pull out the phone. I'm listening to phone calls. None of the salespeople were using the script. They were getting off script. They weren't sharing their EOS. They weren't doing anything. He got livid. Then they got back on script, and immediately their appointments went up. Immediately. And I'm sitting there going, how do you do this? How do you get coached for 9 months and you're still not doing one thing you're getting coached to do, and you're not producing, and you're not making money, and you're broke? I've had people come to me that say they're broke, and I say, I'll pay you $2,000 a month to come do this one job for me, and they still wouldn't do it. And I'm like, you told me you were broke. When I was broke, you know what I would do? Anything. It don't matter what it is. Okay? So here's what that tells me. You really don't believe the same things I believe. Because if you did, when opportunity presents itself, you need to quit asking what's in it for me, and you need to jump on board and do it. Okay? That's the kind of people I'm looking for. Follow me? Now, this is very critical for retention, insulation. Okay? I'm trying to figure out how to insulate our clients. And we got 600 or 700 to try to insulate. Okay? So I'm constantly asking myself, how do we strengthen our bond with these people? How do we include them more? How do we create environments of success? How do we make them want to be a part of it? Well, no matter what we do, there will still be some people who still want to get out. Everybody with me? But we can do things to make them say, this is a great value and benefit to us. Well, I think when you're building your team, your real estate teams, you need to be thinking like that. How do I insulate my top people from going somewhere else? They won't even think about going somewhere else. You follow what I'm saying? The only way I'll keep coming up with is to get so deep in the boat with them and go this deep with them that they would feel guilty if they had to come to you and tell you that. They can't even do it. If the relationship is superficial, if there's no engagement, there can be no transformation. And if there's no transformation, there's no real stick in the relationship. So what do I do to do that? I increase the value. I add more programming. I do stuff for this, and that. You see what I'm saying? I constantly am trying to come up with a way to insulate this. Okay? Now, having said that, some people don't believe the same things I do. They go for a little bit and they don't do it and they quit and they say it didn't work. I can't help them. But if I was running a real estate team with 30 people, it'd be the exact same way. Okay? All I can do is all I can do, which is try to feed all 4 parts of your nature where there's so much of a bond you don't even think about leaving. Okay? Because there'll always be somebody who's got 100% split or 100% something or whatever. So how do I insulate myself? I go to work on these parts. Okay? I'm going to help you with your skills. I'm going to give you an opportunity to learn. I'm going to give you an opportunity to grow. I'm going to give you an opportunity to believe in something bigger. I'm going to go to work on the whole person. And if we go deep with each other, I really believe there's going to be no other place in the world that's going to be better than what we got. You know? This is part of retention right here. So if we were building a retention plan, some people are going to say, well, let's just pay them more money. That's the body. This is where the real meat is right here. I've worked with some people that I coached before for less money because of the value of the relationship to me. They've even told me, I'd like to pay you more money, but we can't. And if it's just about the money, then you need to go somewhere else. But if it's about more than the money, dig in. Let's do something big together. So I want to build that kind of loyalty to me, that kind of loyalty between our clients, that kind of loyalty with the network we're building. I'm trying to build a tribe of people who are all wants the same thing. You know, that's really what I'm trying to build. And we'll lose a few here and there, but on balance, we keep a whole lot more than we lose. You know what I mean? And here's what I would tell you. The more you're bold with what you believe, here's what I tell our team. For every one I lose, I pick up 10. I don't pick up one. It ain't lose one and pick up one. It's lose one and pick up 10 new ones. You see what I'm saying? The more I push my message and the harder I share what I believe with the world, the more people line up to be involved with it. And the more people are here want to even go to a deeper level with me. So it's real interesting. When you're lukewarm, here's a good message. If you don't have a message that repels, you won't have a message that attracts. It repels some, but it attracts the others. See, Chris Christie, if I was coaching him, I said, man, be who you are. Don't back off who you are. The ones who don't like you ain't going to like you anyway. The ones who do like you, take them deep. Okay? All right. Jack, do we have any questions out there online?
No questions here.
Okay. I really want you thinking as you leave tonight, what's your insulation strategy? How do you insulate? Now, there's two components of this. How do you get a person that you represent on a real estate deal to use you only? That's one insulation strategy. I only go to this one person. The other insulation strategy is how do you insulate your agents from ever wanting to leave and go somewhere else, even when somebody offers them a better deal. And it takes effort. I wish I could tell you it's easy, but it ain't. It takes an enormous amount of effort. So what do? Create things in the future they can come to, be part of, engage with. You follow what I'm saying? You just constantly promote something's happening. We're doing big things, right? We're doing big things. And then be clear about your beliefs and line up with people who believe the same things you do. And the ones that don't, hey, it's okay. Like I said, for every one you lose, there's 10 people standing in line. I looked the other day, I had 1,000 requests on Facebook for friends. I got 5,000 friends. Okay? Every day I lose one. Somebody don't like something I said. So it'll go from 5,000 to $49.99. My little brain's like, oh, pfft. And then I look over there and I see 1,000 requests. And I go, you lose one, you pick up 1,000, man. Who cares? If you go to YouTube and you look at somebody big, like a big band, they may have a song. Like I was looking at not a Lady Annabella, but a song by one of the big country music singers the other night. And a little big town. And they had 44 million views on the song. It had like hundreds of thousands likes. But it had almost 90,000 dislikes. Can you imagine getting to the point in your life where 44 million people is looking at what you've done? 4 million hit the like button and 1 million hit the dislike button. What do you care? See, we get one dislike. One person says something negative. We're playing on such a small level. See, when you do something big in the world, there's going to be people line up to see you fail. That's human nature, okay? And I would tell you, you're not pushing hard enough if somebody's not trying to take it from you or keep you from getting it, okay? So just keep that in mind as you're going out there, because I see a lot of people get in a scared, well, what if we lose them? What if we lose them? Nick Saban has gone through 9 offensive coordinators, and he's still winning. How many people would line up to work for Saban? I want you to think about that. He don't care if he loses them or not. He's that confident and that good in his system that he just replaces them with another one. And there's probably a list this long of people who's interested. So that's how I think is, look, if I lose person, I got this many trying to get in. That's somebody who would want to get out anyway. Follow me? So just keep that in mind tonight, okay? I hope this was helpful for you guys. Brokers don't get a lot of this. I know it's a tough gig, man. Being a broker in real estate is a tough gig. Most agents don't see themselves as business people. They don't treat their business like a business. They don't run it like a business. I would be apt, if I started a real estate company tomorrow, to say, look, I'm only looking for 8 to 10 people who are dead serious, who will show up every day, and we're going to go to the moon together, and that's it. If you don't fit, if you're not willing to do these things, don't even call me. If your disc profile don't show up, and that you have a D and pray drive, then you're out. You can go do whatever you want to with your life, but it ain't work with me. You follow me? That's the way I would be. I'm not going to babysit 30 or 40 people, and 10 of them don't want to do anything we teach them to do. Because here's the argument. So what they're doing 1 or 2 deals? So what you're making a couple $100 off of them? Is it worth it? A couple $100 compared to getting 9 or 10 great people that will get in there and do it? Now, if you say, I'm going to have 100, that's fine. But you can't give 100 your attention. Give your attention to the top 15 or 16%. And if they want your attention, they'll get up there in it, right? Just like I did with my basketball team. Okay? All right, guys. Thank you for coming tonight. Guys, thank you for coming online, too. We'll push this out. You can go back and watch it at a later time as well. Thanks.